Hey, we drink the same water, man.
I know, that's funny. We're on a hangout that one time.
Okay, awesome, guys. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you've got Darren Little here with the MLM Superheroes, and we are live right now on an international call, on an international broadcast, broadcasting to all four corners of the world. Guys, what I want to do here tonight is I want to talk to you a little bit about vision. I want for you to understand the power of demographics, understanding target marketing. How do your buyers think? What's going on in here? What do they buy? Where do they go? What do they do, right? The more that you can just understand that about your target market, who is your perfect business partner? Who's the person that can just pull out their credit card, go black card, have about $6 grand that they can put into a campaign, and poof, launch their business. Now, one of the biggest challenges that I've seen just the time that I've been in online marketing and working in various different programs is the learning curve, okay? So the learning curve to get from a newbie all the way up to that point where they're like somebody like Scott Raley, who has already gone through tens of thousands of dollars in testing to get to the point where they go, oh, okay, I see how this works, right? And the only way that you can do that, guys, just so you know, is from experience, right? That's the only way that you can do it. And most people's fear will stop them from advancing, right? Or if they do something and it goes wrong, they want to go like this and blame all the system, and oh, it's the system's fault. They don't want to go like this, right, on their, to look at themselves or say, what did I miss, or what can I do differently? How can I tweak that in order to get the results that I'm looking for, okay? Now, let's say that every one of us had a $1,000 budget, right? We wouldn't be able to actually get through that learning curve, do all that testing on our own, right, to figure out, to zoom in on the perfect target market or the perfect ad, right, to get the type of results that we're looking for as individuals. But when we're dealing with the first budget's $20,000, okay? That's the first test budget. So let's say that out of the 20 grand, it takes $2,000 of the testing to go, right? So now we have that, but we're dealing with an $18,000 budget now, rolling out a campaign, versus if you were doing that on your own. Not only don't you have that learning curve, right, and all the investment that it takes to just learn what Scott's learned, right, $1,000 on its own isn't enough to be able to get all of the zoning done in the market research to get it zoned in so that we can get that type of lift off. Does that make sense, guys, when I'm talking about this? So, you know, the vision of what I see rolling out here, okay? What I want for you guys to all start to do in your mind, because we're all on this path right now of going through the Unleash the Alpha Within training, and a lot of it has to do with surrendering, right, and feeling worthy and deserving of the abundance, right, to allow it to come in, and speaking the reality that you want into existence. Seems pretty simple, right? Like, I mean, in concept anyway, right? It's pretty darn simple, right? But it's to apply that and to be collectively in a bubble. Okay? That's my vision here, guys. I want to create this bubble of infinite possibilities. So the energy starts to go pop, right? And when it pops, it goes off like popcorn, right? And the whole group, collectively, the energy, that when the tide comes in, the boats all rise automatically, all together, right? They just rise, provided that we as a unit are all clear. Okay, we're only as strong as our weakest link. Okay, this is why it's so important for everybody to get through the alpha training, so that we're all clear, so that we're manifesting what it is that we want and not what it is that we don't want, right? Because when you're dealing in marketing, when you're dealing in advertising, everything, guys, just so you know, it's all testing. right? So when I ran the campaign with Scott, and what I'm going to have him do here is I'm going to have him actually go behind the scenes so you guys can really see what sort of technical stuff we're talking about here. Because when you actually see it behind the scenes, you'd be going like, holy crap, I had no idea that it was at that level, right? But I think we ran 29 ads, didn't we, Scott? Just to start that rollout for how to recruit new reps in 6 to 45 minutes?
Yeah, we sure did. We ran out a bunch of ads. We targeted people in Canada, we targeted people in the United States, and we were focusing on multiple demographics. I was showing you, the different ways to target different fan pages, like Ray Higdon versus digital marketer, and the difference in affinity and some of the stuff that you were saying. You're like, okay, I'm totally giving you access to my account, and I'm going to let you run the ads, and I have no problem with that because what you've given me over the last few years is just overflowing abundance of personal development. And so me running your ads was like, dude, let's go. And so we had a lot of people click on your ad and download your free report. That was one, and register for your webinar. That was two. So you were basically giving value first and then selling second on the webinar. And that was just a great funnel you put together within like 10 minutes, the page and stuff. And then I went and did your ads. But most of the hard work is in the research and setting up the ads, and we wanted to make sure that we targeted the demographic that would appeal to you. I don't have a problem targeting people from age 25 and up. Maybe 30 I would shoot for, more likely. But you were like, no, I'm starting off at 40. I want 40 and above. And so when we did that, it just we really saw a big increase in your conversions and the cost per conversion, because it just they saw your picture on your ad, and it just was great. So I can show some of you guys what his ad looked like, and then that way you can kind of get a good idea on what you would be looking at on your newsfeed. I'm sure we see ads on our newsfeed every day. And I can show you guys some really cool tricks right now, if you guys don't mind, when it comes to ads and stuff like that. If you guys just wanted to get a good idea of ads. So should I share my screen and go over that?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, cool. By the way, everybody, my name's Scott, and Darren has been a great influence on my life. And I just want to say thank you, Darren, for just being so amazing. So we have an awesome opportunity, by the way, guys. I just want you to know, when we're able to build this mastermind together, I mean, we've seen other masterminds grow, but when you have the right leadership involved, it just makes everything all the better. And when the leadership is right, you got the right collective team and all the bonuses all put together, like the 7-figure profit maximizers and the Facebook group. You can see the momentum growing just with a little group that we have here. So the core group that we're putting together is just going to be great to leverage, So we'll get into all the logistics later on how to position yourself, present yourself, and that kind of thing. But if we're looking at the ad right here, and
we're not seeing the ad, Scott.
Okay, you're not seeing the ad. Okay, well, I might have a problem with that. Let me, I'll just share the actual page. You guys should see it now.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Okay, sorry about that. So this ad worked really good, guys, because it was just short and sweet, how to recruit. I'll show you in a minute who we targeted for this. We were getting 47-cent leads. So per conversion means lead. So this is a kind of ad. There's two different kinds of ads that you can do on Facebook when it comes to an ad like this, where it's an actual, like if you click on this picture, it'll kick you off of Facebook and take you to a website. So which would be a landing page, some type of free report. And we always heard, to value first, sell second. So I'll show you what this looks like. Okay, so here's, just imagine this is your news feed. You click on the ad, it kicks you out, And webinar funnels, just so you guys know, I'm going to give you some value, tonight, just outside of what you already know. But webinar funnels work really good because this is a page that doesn't present like I'm going to sell to you. It presents that I'm going to give value to you. So anytime that I have, if I'm going over conversion rates, meaning like, say if I sent 10 people to this website, okay, 10 people, I could normally expect 6 people to opt in and give me their email address. 6 people, all right? And when I do webinar pages, that's a good opt-in ratio, right? Versus like other pages, you can normally expect like 30% and above, right? So webinar pages have a high opt-in rate, so that's why they work really good. And Darren did something really special here. He said, I'm going to give you a $197 value free MLM affiliate magic book. And if you guys go through this book, it's just full of information on how to understand your target market, basically ways of marketing, lead magnets. This is a way of marketing right here that you're looking at, which is a webinar funnel, a webinar sales funnel. And all of us should, at one point in our career online, get comfortable with webinars. No matter what, I mean, this is a great way to step into your power, is to get on some type of webinar and share who you are. And really, guys, it's not like what I'm doing now, where I'm sharing my screen, I'm just going off the cuff. A webinar could literally be just you have a PowerPoint slide, and you just go through the slides. And you don't really have to do anything special other than that, like, hey, this is who I am. You create the slides, you create the story, you create what you want to share before you even go live. So this is the kind of funnel that eventually you guys want to start doing, in your marketing later on, is some type of webinar funnel, and then you give away a free PDF report. And we actually worked on this ad copy together. And this was the ad copy that worked out the best. We tested like 8 different ads. Me and Darren did different ad copy wise, and some of them were longer than others. As you can see here, this is very short. Free webinar reveals a quick way to recruit, new reps in 6 to 45 minutes. Completely eliminate rejection and never have to harass your friends and family again. So this was a good ad copy compared to our other ads that didn't do as well as this one. So when you're looking at building out ads, guys, you really want to do it in a way where you create multiple ad sets. I usually like to do it at $1 a piece, so I'm not spending a whole bunch of money right off the bat. So, and that's the thing. What Darren was saying earlier is, when you have, like, let's say you have $1,000, guys, for marketing. You don't want to go out there and waste your time and energy wasting your money not knowing what you're doing, right? You don't want to just go out there and just try to, what do they say, just throw it on the wall and see if it sticks? No. So what would you normally do? You'd go out there and buy a product, $197, $100. You go out and buy a product. Maybe you would learn from that product one thing that is like really cool, but everything else is outdated or doesn't work anymore. So now you're like, well, let me go try that one thing. And next thing you know, you're struggling and you're not able to get really good ads up. Now you've not only spent $197 for the product, but you've spent close to another $100-something on ads. Now you really don't have any data. You don't really know which direction to go or what's the best direction. You don't know much about targeting, for one, which targeting is everything, ad copy is another thing. So you could spend upwards of $2,000 just wasting your time and energy to get something like what we're putting together going and rocking and rolling, right? So I ultimately am not charging Darren. I'm not charging you guys. I'm putting this $20,000 together so we can all benefit, because ultimately I've actually had a lot of success using Facebook for the Empower Network, with the Empower Network, and I was doing simple stuff like targeting MLM companies like Herbalife, MonaV, It Works, which is like a women's MLM company about losing weight. And I said, hey guys, I can help you make more money and stop struggling to recruit people, and we can do it online through a blog. And that was my angle of marketing back then, but now it's going to change. It's a little different. You know, we have the seven. You know, we have the profit maximizers. We have the iPass system, and we're definitely going to have a clear direction on. Well, we're going to have an outline for those of you that take action inside this co-op on how we're going to position you after you go ahead and pay the $1,000. Okay, so what's really cool that what we've done is, not to get too far ahead of myself, is that we're going to offer you guys, you know, the first email to put into your autoresponder after someone opts into your page. And just like Darren had over here, he had a free PDF report. So that's one of the things that you want to lead with on your landing page is, hey guys, I'll bribe you. You know, it's like, hey, I'll give you a cookie, you know, and all I want is your email address. And that way you could show them that you're legit, that you're real, that you want to give them value before you ask for the sale. And so that's going to be really cool, guys, is to give you some, you know, a few emails that have converted very high for me on the follow-up email after someone opts into your page, which is really cool.
Hey, Scott, just on that note, while you're while you're talking about this particular thing, and this is something that we may want to, you know, just keep on going with the whole campaign. Because, guys, just so you know, here's what happened. I ran a little test, right, to see if this strategy would actually work, and there was so much response from it that we maxed out Google's bandwidth. And there was so many people trying to watch it that we shut down Google. Like the whole system just totally crapped out. And the bizarre thing is, on the rewind, it breaks the time continuum. So imagine this: the recording comes back on, and it's me at the first thing, and then it jumps up to the 7-minute mark, and now it's Rex, right? And then it jumps back in time to where we're at. And then it jumps forward in time, and then it jumps back. And I was like, holy cow. Not only did we break the bandwidth, but I mean, it was like we broke the time continuum, and I've never seen that happen before on a Hangout. You know what I mean? Where okay, you might have the sound crap out, right, or something happens, but not where it's at this time zone, and then it's in the future, and then it's back where it was before. I've never seen that happen before, okay, on anything that I've seen online. So we've already done this, and we've already actually shown that there's a lot of demand for people that want to learn how to recruit new reps in 6 to 45 minutes. And it's already done. And, right, it basically already promotes the 7-figure profit maximizers as a bonus, and it gets people in at Kalatu Premium with the mindset training. So it's already done. I just realized that. Like the whole thing's already, the funnel and everything's already there if we want to use that strategy to, you know, roll out this you know.
Oh yeah, that's the strategy that you want to use, because guys, one thing that I've always struggled with in Empower Network was a good team that was clear, right? Like, you always want to be on a team that knows where they're going. And the reason why a lot of teams don't grow in Empower Network is because they got so much training to watch, they got so many products to buy, they got so many directions to go, but they don't have a leader that says, damn it, we're going this way, where are you guys going? You know, I got this set up right here. I just made $20,000 last month following this simple strategy. I got it laid out for you guys. You guys don't need to go out there and play duck, duck, goose. You can follow what I'm doing here. And so what I've seen with what Darren's doing is something that I've been looking for a long time with his $3,000 bonus. You know, helping my team create their first vision board. I mean, that's amazing. Like, obviously, I can go out there and spend all that time trying to be Darren, but I'm not Darren. And guess who I am? I'm the ads guy. I'm the targeting guy. I'm the technical guy. You know, I love to learn from Darren, but I can't be what he is. And so I want to we want to leverage off each other. It's almost like we are like, you know, like superheroes. You know what I mean? And just imagine your head on top of a superhero with a cape. and you have your certain powers, right? You know what I mean? You're like the color blue, and you are the force to recognize with, you know what I mean? And so you are a certain person that can bring value to the team, but ultimately this team is clear. And that's what I love about the direction we're going. And you guys can see that. We got people like Rex that are coming up. We have so many new people that are coming up, you know, that are making decent amount of money that we all want to be making, right? Who wouldn't want a $9,000 week, right? I mean, Darren has had multiple testimonials just in the last couple weeks with people who have been making some good money here, and they've been following Darren's system. So what are we going to teach? We're going to teach Darren's system, and that's what is going to allow you guys. It's perfect because if you log into your profit maximizers, if you guys go back there, you can put those in your follow-up emails. Who here knows how to put a link in a follow-up email, right? You're building your list. You got 10 leads on your list. You want to send out an email about building a vision board. You want to send out an email about recruiting reps. Here, guys, I know you're stuck. You might be stuck recruiting reps. I remember a day when I was stuck. I was calling friends and family, and then I found out the word funnel, sales funnel. I had no idea what a sales funnel was until I watched this exact video that you're going to get access to. It changed my life. You know, hurry up and watch it before I take it down. You know, it's going down in 2 days. You know, something like that to get the urgency in there, right? And you'll learn the characteristics of writing an email, the 4 things that you want to look for. But ultimately, you know, you got the foundation, and we got a leader, and we got a direction, and then you got the traffic. So another thing that we were talking about traffic, guys, is that not only are you going to waste a lot of money in trying to figure it out, but you're going to waste a lot of money in trying to get data. And let's say you only have $1,000. Well, now you're going to say, man, I wasted $1,000, and now the traffic doesn't work. Paid traffic doesn't work. You know, I don't even want to touch it now. I give up. And what I was learning recently, I was reading a book by Dan Kennedy, and he was talking about how these companies have billions of dollars in advertising budgets. And I'm thinking to myself, like, man, could you guys imagine spending $1 million just in advertising? I mean, that's what some of these companies are doing. And they necessarily, a lot of times, aren't making an ROI. They're just doing it because they have to, and because they have to spend it for tax purposes. Like, I heard Coca-Cola, they have like a $12.1 billion ad budget every year. And they always crank out tons of money at the end of the year, even if they have to waste it for tax purposes. So
you know what? One of the things, back to what you were saying, Scott, is that, and it's really important for us to, you know, it's talking about creating this bubble, right? Because see, here's what I love about this. There's no point for me to have to go out to try to learn what it took Scott 4 years to get good at, right? To stall my progression to get to the next level, right? That's the Henry Ford model, right? So what Henry Ford did was he didn't have all the talent himself. He just found somebody that was an expert at it, and he would delegate that responsibility to them, right? So that's what we're talking about here, okay? So here's what I know, guys. Here's what I know. So Scott's got his thing that he's good at, right? What I believe that I'm really good at, my talent, is explaining to people this really simple, easy thing that they need to be able to do to be able to learn how to manifest and create whatever reality that they want for themselves. 5 simple steps to wealth creation, right? And then to be able to present to people where they're going to go through a complete paradigm shift. Okay, so when you guys first started working with me, right, and you came from features and benefits, pitching and closing, dealing with objections, right, that reality to this reality of being the detective and pulling data from people and getting that connection, right, getting them to laugh, piquing their curiosity, and getting out of the way, right? It's a totally different paradigm. And when people first experience that, it's literally like fireworks start going off in their brain. They go, oh my God, I didn't realize it was this easy to recruit reps, right? Because it's all about the person. So that's done, okay? And I've done it so much for over 25 years, and that same strategy I used to raise tens of millions of dollars with venture capital. So that component, that little module thing, is finished. There's no point in each one of you going out to try to replicate what that module is, right? Because it's already working, right? And I can explain it really well and people get it and the aha moments happen like fireworks. So, you know, as well as Todd, as an example, is a seven-figure income earner. Okay, now, I don't know about you guys, but you don't become a seven-figure income earner unless you're good at building relationships, unless you're a leader, unless you understand a lot about human psychology. Trust me on this. You have to really know your stuff, okay, about team building and about personality types, right, about adjusting your frequency and your vibration to get to the synchronicity, right? Because if you're coming in like this, you won't get a match, right? You got somebody who's in visual, you're in kinesthetic, right? You won't be able to close them, right? So I want to just jump over here to Todd for a quick sec, if we can, Scott, and then go back onto this campaign just so Todd's got an opportunity just for people to, you know, hear a little bit from him. And welcome on board, everybody, Todd Witherspoon.
Thanks, and probably a lot of you, this is the first time that you've ever heard my name. I've come to this industry. I'm kind of a grizzled veteran of the MLM industry for the last 16, 17 years. I've been a top executive, as Darren kind of made light of. I ran hospitals. I sat on the board of 5 different hospitals. I brokered $100 million deals to buy hospitals. And I've built my reputation as being kind of ruthless in the corporate America world. And several years ago, I was knocked down by an accident because of karma, and my belief, and I truly believe that it was the karma that brought me to this industry. As I was making close to $500,000 as a hospital executive, and I was kind of the hatchet man for a whole group of people that were buying hospitals, and we were, you know, I was behind the scenes doing all that, but I wasn't living my karmic life the way the universe saw I should live it. And an accident knocked me down to nothing, and I've come back, and I'm here today. Getting to the MLM experience, I've run hundreds of co-ops. I've been involved with hundreds of co-ops. I've written tons of ad type, mainly newspapers, done recruiting over phone. I mean, at one point we were making 100 calls on the out of the phone book daily, leaving messages on people's voicemails to get them to call us back, to get them into an office. We've also opened professional offices where 3 times a day you would be running an opportunity meeting or presentation, as we would call it. And it's all about building bridges. And I think I'm here in this group because I want to make it very, very clear that this is not rocket science. In multi-level marketing or in affiliate marketing, you do 2 things. You sell and you recruit. And it's as easy as that. And if you try to make it any harder than that, you're going to fall over yourself. And when you find a proven leader like Darren, and you can find a proven guru like Scott, who's all over Facebook and has had the success in the Empower Network, which we're all here for. We're here to build Empower Network, and we're here to build our residual incomes to match our dreams and to match our vortex of success that we're going to step into. I think that this is the perfect place at the perfect time, and you know, I'm glad to be involved with the team. Darren, did you have any questions that you wanted to ask?
Well, you know, I think that you've touched on some great things. I guess what I want for people to understand here today, guys, is that you know, you may have thought that we've been at a certain level. Well, let me just tell you this. I told you that we are turning up the frequency, right? You've seen me post it multiple times, right? And this is kind of what I'm talking about, because this whole thing that's happening right now is almost like I don't know, it's like preordained thing that happens when you speak your reality into existence, right? When you draw a line in the sand and you just say, this is what's going to happen right now, it starts to happen, right? And this right here is what I'm talking about. This is an example of this, okay? Now, did I even, you know, I've never even talked to Todd before. How about that, right? Like, this is the first time that we've actually had a conversation face-to-face like this, right?
Absolutely.
I actually saw his name, but didn't even realize that this was the guy, even though we've talked multiple times on Skype and on the phone, right? So this is what I want for you guys to understand, is once we collectively as a team unit, we make a decision, okay? We're going for the $1 million ring, guys. That's what's happening right now. We are going for the $1 million ring, all of us. Okay, now you have to believe that in every cell of your being that you are going to make this happen for yourself, and you're going to have to get through some emotions along the way. So what? Big deal. So what? Right? If you're making $50,000 a year right now and you expect to go to 20 times that amount, you can be rest assured that stuff's got to fall off of you, which is your baggage, in order to fly, right? So that's why it's so important that we're all clear. But guys, I didn't know 3 weeks ago that this would be the group that we would have together. How about that? I had no idea. But I just had faith and belief that I'm walking forward in complete blind faith. This is what's happening. We're putting together this campaign. We're dialing things up to the next level. And then I had a vision, right? First campaign is going to be 20 grand. The next campaign is going to be 40. Then we're dialing it up to 80. And then we're basically raising $1 million, okay? Not for ourselves, for a budget, right? To roll out an ad campaign, right? So this is very possible once you understand target marketing. So ideally, if you wanted to get your perfect business partners, aren't your perfect business partners the ones that already get all the stuff that we get, right? They already understand demographics, target marketing, blah, 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 rolling out campaigns. They already understand that. They're already making big money, but they're looking at this as another revenue stream for them to make another couple million, right? So if you start to roll out numbers, with $1 million budget, we figure it will pull about 450,000 leads. Okay. Now, even at 0.5% conversion on that, it's still over 6 million, right? 1% conversion, it's around 13 million, right? So, but this is what I want for you guys to start to do, is to start to expand your mindset, okay? Because the only thing that's going to limit your capacity to go into these other realms is you, right? The questions that you ask yourself and whether or not you feel deserving and worthy that abundance is your birthright. So what I'm really happy about with Todd is that there's not very many people, guys, honestly, worldwide, that can honestly say that they're 7-figure income earners in the MLM business model, right? There might be 7-figure income earners in other industries, but not in the MLM business model. So that is a huge accolade. Now, what I want for you to understand is that we're going to now go to a higher level of coaching and training now, okay? And Todd's going to be part of that to, roll this out for everybody. Because we are only as strong as the weakest link, guys. You got to understand this. So each one of us, okay, has to start to take ownership. We have to take responsibility for our thoughts, for our words, and for our emotions. right? So if you don't believe this is going to happen, if you don't believe this is true, if you don't believe that, you know, all of this stuff came together like this because you've seen me write about it for the last 3 weeks, right? We can probably go back into the news feed and actually see my proclamations where I've stated right into the group this is going to happen, and poof, you know, out of the thin air, it just goes, right? Scott comes in as the expert. You know, Todd comes in as a 7-figure income earner. You know, it just all starts to gel together when you decide that you are ready and you draw a line in the sand and you say, I will no longer stand for my life the way it is any longer, and you raise your standards. That's how it happens, guys. It's really that simple, right? The challenge that people go through is the human condition. Deservability, worthiness, self-love, boundaries. That's pulling them down like this. The hot air balloon's trying to take off, and then this is happening, right? So back over to you, Todd. Maybe you can just share a little bit about you know, the mindset of really what it takes to get to this next level that we're talking about.
Well, the mindset, Darren. Thanks for that. Thanks for that introduction. It means a lot to hear from you, especially, and it really is interesting that 3 weeks ago I didn't know who Darren Little was. Something attracted me to this flame that, and whether I came through Scott, whether I came through another friend on the web, Victor, whoever I came, I'm here for a reason. And that's what it's all about. Anytime that you're going to have success in any industry, whether it be networking, corporate America, especially networking, you have to be the leader and you have to have the vision to lead that people are going to want to follow. And that's really the easiest way to put it. It's like, you know, I've probably been to close to over 100 MLM trainings. I've put them on. I've been on stage. I've talked on stage. But something about the industry a while back drove me away from it, and it's something that that we discussed on the call earlier, that the industry was not being genuine. And I see a really good opportunity here with Empower Network to be genuine, because even to get your message out there, if you're not unpeeled and able to expose yourself to what the scrutiny of others, you'll never be the leader that you can be in this industry. To be in any industry a leader, blogging and getting your message out there, if you're not being genuine, people see right through it, you know. And so that's the unique thing about this. And on top of that, having a funnel that works and having a crew that can put it together and make it work even more efficiently, that's what we're talking about here. You know, as I ran hospitals, we basically, I had to, I was explaining this earlier, that we had to build layers upon layers of management teams so that you would basically be able to operate an entire hospital, because from start to finish, you got the janitors all the way up to the neurosurgeons. And how do you make that synergy work? Well, it's by putting together a team of people. And it's the same way in network marketing or affiliate marketing, whatever you want to call it. You have to have layers of managers. You'll have, you know, 80% to 20%. It's that I forget who coined it years ago. But you'll have 80% of the people that are there just for the feeling, and 20% of the people are there to do the work. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be helping to funnel the workers down to you and teaching you and giving you the tools that are, we're not reinventing the wheel here. We're giving you the tools to build leaders in your organizations, and then you can just foster them and build that level of management within your organizations so that you can go on vacation and have a $20,000 a month, like one of my mentors, Aaron Rashkin, does all the time. It's very simple, but it's not easy. And that's really why you're here. Is like you're either sick and tired of being sick and tired, or you're just ready for that breakthrough, and you don't know why you were drawn to this, but you're here for a reason. And I'm just jacked. I'm jacked to have such a budget, and to have the vision that this is just the beginning. And really, you have to step into your own power to be a leader and to take charge of this industry. And Darren shared it with me, and I'm going to share it with you. My vision is the same as Darren. I see 100 of our teams walking across that stage as the 100 millionaires that are developed in the next 5 years. So whether it be the sound effects are interesting. But all I can say is that I'm really excited to be here, to add my expertise, to add my my level of finance ability, to also help refine running these targeted ads and getting you who's trusting us with your money to the right people and sticking them in the right system and finding those leaders. It's like Scott was saying, hey, you know, most people, they run a like a solo ad on Facebook, and it's like throwing what we would used to call, excuse my language, but shit up against the wall and hoping it would stick. And you might throw 100 people against the wall and maybe one would stick. What we want to do here is we want to blow away the retention level that any of you have had, or in any other industry that you've ever, or any other business or company that you've ever recruited to or been part of. I want a 60 to 100% retention. And that's what I envision, and that's the main reason why I'm plugged in here.
Nice. Well, here's what I'm going to tell you guys, okay, is that the particular formula that we're working with right now, okay, this has already been market tested. Okay, so when I rolled out my last deal, this was my strategy. Okay, I'm gonna explain it to you guys so that you can get to $100,000 as fast as you possibly can. Okay, it's real simple. Okay, real simple. A lot of people don't really understand pass-up marketing plans in the beginning to start, just so you know. Okay, so what you got to understand about pass-ups is they're like a unilevel that goes to infinity. Okay, so you know, a lot of companies will have, you get paid on, you know, 7 levels or 9 levels, right? Well, in a pass-up plan, especially when you've got 1, 3, 5 and every fifth that are pass-ups, the important part is 1, 3, 5. Okay, I call that the qualifier, right? 1, 3, 5. After that, it's just bonus money. But let's focus on 1, 3, 5. What you got to understand about the bridge between our reality and the network marketing reality. Typically, a network marketer wants to get in front of their new person's people as fast as they possibly can. Okay, in network marketing, that's what you want to do. Now, if you learn how to actually bridge our world with network marketing, right, and have the best of both worlds, and start scheduling launch events for your new people, your business will go straight down, okay? Because let's say that a new person's starting, and you do a Google Hangout with, you know, 8 to 10 of their top contacts, guess what? You're sharing 50-50 for the first 6. It's 50-50 split, right? And now those 3 new people, you're getting their half of their business and half of their business and half of their business, and as far down the rabbit hole as you want to go, right? Now, here's how simple this is. You need 99 people in your inner circle to make $100,000 a year, okay, 99. But 99 is only 33, right, with the qualifiers. 33 is only 11. Now, once your subconscious mind starts to focus on the fact that you just need 11, K line, right, 11, and now you're going to teach this concept. Now, if they only get half of it done, you're halfway to 100 grand, right? Now, the next group that comes in that gets the whole concept, and they go, holy crap, only 99 people to get 200,000 a year? Now you're at 100,000. You know, it took me 49 days to pull that off, okay? 49 days to go from 0 to 12,300 and some odd change in 49 days. Now, here's how this works. I'm going to make, in order for me to get 11, I'm going to have to have about 110 just casual connections to find out what's happening in that person's life. If they have a business, what's my special sauce, right? Is that I'm going to get them to the point where I find out if they're full-time or part-time, how long they've been in, how big's their team, who's their mentor, and what's their monthly marketing and advertising budget. That's all I need to know. I know how much money they're making and everything else, okay, from those 5 questions. So now I say to them, oh man, are you for real? Oh, you don't have a marketing and advertising budget? Oh, dude, you know what? I just found out how to help people in whatever company they're in add $2,000 to $3,000 to your monthly marketing budget in 60 to 90 days. And they go, really? How do you do that? Watch this video. And you're gone to the next one. Now, 10% will convert. Pretty simple formula. And guess what you got? The $3,000 bonus, the science of getting rich, right? So if they come in with a Kalatu premium and the inner circle mindset, carrot, 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 get the $3,000 bonus, right? Which is our 7-figure profit maximizers. Now, I'm telling you this for fact, guys, because this is what really happened for me. That bonus got so much traction on its own that people would email me and say, Darren, I know I'm not on your team, but can I PayPal you $3 grand? I want that bonus. This really happened. Okay, the Academy of Quantum Physics Mind Mastery. Okay, really happened. I can show you guys even last month somebody got involved, right? Because of that they wanted the Academy of Quantum Physics Mind Mastery, and they're going black card just to get access to that quantum physics training. Okay, so this is the real deal, guys. You can go from 0 to 100,000 as fast as you want. I've already done it in 49 days. I've had students as well that have done it as well, just like me, right? Eric Green was at 7,500 his first month. So I'm just trying to think of the other lady. She was at 11,500 by month 2. Her name's not come to my brain right now. But my point being is that if you take a concentrated focus effort and you understand that is the baseline, and now you pour gasoline on top of the fire with a launch out campaign, oh my God, guys, this is where it gets exciting. And then we bring all the people together and we share our, Todd shares his mastery, right? I share my concepts and ideas. Now, here's the ultimate. This is the next level, okay? This is what I was talking about, my vision. But the next level, when people start coming in at higher levels, right, our team will have professional writers on staff, okay, that we will have, where that person comes in, you know they have X amount for a budget, they get headshots done, so there's a sheet that goes out that says get a headshot like this, get a headshot like this, get a headshot like this, right, and it gives them all the angles. They get their headshots done, that gets forwarded over to the designer, they get a call from the writer. The writer does a preliminary interview, interviews them about their background story, and professionally writes a marketable story, right? So that person coming right out of the gate, they don't have a learning curve. They have a marketable brand that's coming out of the gate. There's traffic that's running, right? And they get plugged right into alpha training, right into millionaire mentoring with the team as a unit, okay? Now, Vic, with his tool, with the search triggers, is going to, you know, do his particular, whatever his special sauce is with getting the right search engine stuff, because we don't want to have to put people through learning curves, guys, okay? We want them making money fast, 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 okay? it gets sent over to the thing. The person's loaded up in the first 3 weeks. They're branded. They got the full story. All the things work. The opt-ins work. Everything else, they're in business. Okay, turnkey. They're ready to rock.
We'll call it the quantum boom package.
The quantum boom package, exactly. Okay, so what you guys got to understand here is we're doing this. Okay, we're doing this. This is what's happening. So what you've got to now start to do is you've got to start to expand your mindset. Because the first time that I started to talk about, with the guys here, that we were going to put together a $20,000 campaign, right? And that this is the ramp up, right? We went through even our own little internal thing, which had to clear out the energy force, right? Because if we're not clear as a unit, right, guess what's going to happen? This, right, with the abundance flow. We can't have that, guys. We can't have that. So, like as an example, if your ultimate goal is that you want to be able to, this is one of my goals, okay, is that these are part of my proclamation statements, is I am writing checks for $1 million at a time to charity. I am writing checks for $1 million at a time to charity. That's one of my visions, one of my goals that of just being here in my existence on this reality. You got to start to take your game to that level, guys. You got to start to take your game. If what you want is to be able to build a this place for homeless women or whatever, or battered women, right? You got to start getting on this path, because it can't be about just you and your family. If you want to start making massive money where it gets into 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 million, 100 million, a billion, if you don't have a global purpose, if you don't have a global cause that you're behind, you cannot do it. It's not possible. Okay? You have to be behind some bigger thing that's bigger than you and your family. So now's the time that you've got to start to get this stuff done, right? Get connected to your heart, right? Get vulnerable. Be willing to let the emotions free from your body so that you can raise the vibration with the rest of the team, right? And be okay with it. Be okay with it. Surrender to your wealth. Surrender to your abundance flow. Know that abundance is your birthright. There's not enough money in the world that can pay you for your worth. That's where we've got to be collectively as a team, right? Because what's going to happen is once this rolls out, we create what's called a success vortex. Now, if you've never been involved with something like this in the past, it is a phenomenon. Okay, the power of the team goes like this, and then it goes, and it pulls from all four corners of the world, guys. Literally, from all four corners of the world, people will start contacting you out of nowhere. People that you went to elementary school will, for some reason, feel compelled to track you down on Facebook to reach out to you to find out what you're doing right now. The elementary school. I'm not kidding you. People that you haven't talked to in 20 years will send you emails. 20 years. People that you did business with, that you just came in brief contact with, will contact somebody that you knew, and you'll get a call. Is this Darren Little? Yeah. Darren, I don't know if you remember me. We were at a trade show in Las Vegas like about 15 years ago. That's what starts happening. Okay? And if you just trust this process and you see what's happened already, because you guys all witnessed it. You guys have all witnessed me going online and say, I'm going to recruit somebody right now, and you've seen it happen live in 5 minutes, exactly what we were talking about. This right here is a manifestation that happened 3 weeks ago. How about that? How about that? And if we all believe, if you tap right now into your higher consciousness, if you tap right now into your higher purpose, and you just trust me here, and you say, I'm going to start dreaming big. I'm going to start dreaming real big. Okay, so instead of Chad, as an example, was looking for a white Jeep Wrangler, he may up his game now. right? He may up his game to something bigger, right? It's all, you got to get some other global purpose though behind your mission, and everybody's going to have to pick what their, you know, what stirs them up. I don't know. Everybody's going to be different, right? It might be building homeless shelters. It might be, you know, Alzheimer's Foundation. I don't know what it's going to be for you, right? Could be going on some missionary thing. I don't know, right? You got to start thinking about that now, guys, real fast, okay? Real important. Okay, now what I want to do here, Vic, you can maybe just give a quick 5-minute snapshot here on search triggers and what your vision is for that, and then we're going to hand it back over to Scott.
Sure, sure. Thanks, Darren. You know, I'm just so excited about this co-op because it's like I've been in other co-ops before, and this is the first co-op I've seen where the co-op organizers themselves put the money in the co-op. That's when you know it's like, you know what, they have their own skin in the game. And so it's like I got the Skype from Darren, and like boom, within 5 minutes, I put my money in. I said, you know what, if Darren's putting in his money in, I'm putting my money in. And I trust Scott because a lot of people don't know Scott, but he's also a spiritual man, and he's in ministry school. And you know, we shared a room together at an event one time, and I got to see a side of him. He is honest. He will take care of you, and he is a gangster. He's actually better at search triggers than I am, and I wrote the damn thing. So it's like he's our #1 user in search triggers. So what I was going to share is that what we're doing with search triggers, we're actually doing some R&D inside of this campaign, and I'm giving Scott all the tools that he needs to lower our ad cost, you know, target just the perfect words, because you got to understand, when you put something on Facebook, who sees it? Yahoo sees it, Bing sees it, Twitter sees it, and to some degree Google. But that's going to become less and less as we move through summer into fall, because what's starting to happen is this integration between Yahoo, Bing, and Google, and traffic, and all of that is really Scott's expertise. And I love to work with Scott to amplify what he's doing so that we can get, you know, like we saw maybe 40 cents a lead. What if we got that down to 20 cents a lead? What if we got that down to 10 cents a lead, and we start targeting that market even more and more and more? What happens is we'll be able to get more leads, and because of Darren's amazing sales funnel that's already tried and proven, it is going to convert. The more people get involved, the more people will want to participate in this. Now, I want to share a little bit about breakthroughs and breakdowns. I'm totally committed to have a breakthrough, absolute breakthrough. Now, what happens when you commit to having a breakthrough? I've been suffering. I mean, I've had, since last Friday, I've been going through breakdown after breakdown after breakdown after breakdown. But you know what? You emerge stronger. You emerge more alive. And you know, the bigger your vision, when you're clear, and that's where you really need the mindset training that Darren's talking about, is it. You know, I thought I knew what I was doing, and I really didn't know my ass from a hole in the ground. I'm just going to be really honest and transparent with you, because once you actually sit down and start doing the work, it's that personal development work on yourself, and you go, okay, what is my role in this? How can I help? How can I serve the team? That's when, you know, doors start to open up. So tomorrow we're having a training with Scott, and my partner and colleague, the father of SEO himself, the man who coined the term search engine optimization, will be with us live, and he's actually an expert in social media now. So we're going to be talking about the distinctions between social media and SEO. And the essence of what we're seeking to do here is come to an understanding of how can we take everything that we've learned about online marketing, funnel building, you know, turning leads into sales, which is called conversions. How do we take all of that and bring it to a focal point to make this co-op successful? And to me, that is why we're all here. We're here to, I see us all easily producing that result that we are all seeking to become successful leaders inside of Empower. So I'm excited to have a breakthrough. I'm ready. I could just, you can feel it. I could just feel that it's like the energy is rising, and I only wish that we had more spots available to give to some of my friends. It's funny. Someone, as we were talking, the last person I invested in a co-op with hit me up on Skype right as you were saying, Darren. He said, "Hey, what's going on?" So it's that magical quality that comes out. So if Scott, if you've been using search triggers now for like a couple of years, can you just tell us, like, 15 seconds what you've gotten out of it, and then I'll happy answer any questions. But I just love to see what you're doing, man. You're totally the gangster.
You're all over the place, man. I love that about you, but we got to get focused. But yeah, guys, search triggers is great to use. Vic in his tool, I was actually using it today, and I was looking for long tail keywords. I was helping one of my coaching students, and he was doing a real estate offer, and one of the keywords that we were looking for was like, it said like rent to own. Right, rent to own. That was the main keyword, and I was like, well, let me help you find a more of a longer tail keyword. So it was like rent to own in Arizona, rent to own in Philadelphia. So we did some research, and we found the biggest and best cities that are targeted for that offer, and then he used those keywords that we found that search triggers revealed to us that I wasn't able to find using the Google keyword tool or the Bing tool itself. So it was strictly this tool here. So that's what's cool about what Darren was trying to bring in, is that eventually when we get this all going, guys, and it's like popcorn, Rex gets a sale, I get a sale, Darren gets a sale, Todd gets a sale, and then as we're building this up, we're going to start coming up with packages to fast start these new members, right? The main thing is obviously the profit maximizers, going through Darren's $3,000 bonus training, getting focused, helping them get all the products in Empower Network. But eventually, our biggest leverage point is our co-op. Our biggest leverage point is to help them with the writers, getting their story down and getting some blog posts out there on their blog, and feeling like, damn, like I've never been a part of anything like this that has actually like pushed me to a faster level. You know what I mean? And people will pay a lot of money for that. People will pay a lot of money to get the graphics up, to get the branding up, to get the blog posts up, and to be a part of a co-op. And eventually, people are going to be begging to be on your team. If we're focused and we're not blocked, okay, blocked meaning putting out the wave particle theory. We went over that. And if you guys haven't gone over that, you really need to surrender to the power and what these scientists actually came up with. They basically stated, which is we're broadcasting a radio frequency that is basically creating our own reality. That is like gangster stuff right there. That is amazing. And I've actually experienced that many times. I would cut out little things in magazines and I'd put them in my wallet, and every time I'd pull out money or get my credit card or anything, I would have that in my wallet. And that's just a beautiful thing, guys. Like, whatever it was, whether it was a pretty girl or a home, a car. I mean, guys, find a magazine, cut it out, and put that thing in your wallet or your purse, because I'm telling you what, you are going to start creating whatever that is into your reality. And it could happen for good or bad. You could become a victim. You could have negative thoughts all the time, or you could repel those negative thoughts and not allow them into your reality. And a lot of times, when I was doing bad things, growing up in an environment where, just not doing good things, and Todd talked about karma, and what happened to him a while back. Now, that's kind of hard to accept, but sometimes maybe he was creating that in his reality. Well, one of the things that I know for a fact, how many of you have been on the road when you were younger and you just got your license? And this is what I was trying to bring up just a second ago. And you were, driving fast, when you're 16 years old, you're not supposed to drive around with a passenger in your car, because you need to become 18 until you can drive with someone, 25 or older, or, so I would drive around and do crazy things, go off-roading and ditch and all kinds of stuff. So I would put off that broadcast energy every time I got behind a cop or a cop got behind me or around me. I would say, "Oh my God, this is crazy! Like I'm totally gonna get pulled over right now." And I just know it, and I started creating that in my own reality, and it always happened. And I always wondered, I'm like, why didn't you pull over that guy? I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't have expired tags. I didn't have a light out. What's wrong? Why didn't you get that guy? Why me? But it was because of my energy, and I didn't realize it till later, and it just kind of blew my mind now that you're putting the pieces together and you're realizing how powerful this stuff is. So that right there, guys, is truly the first thing that we need to start with is getting people through the personal development. Then you have the leverage of the co-op. You have the leverage of getting people on that fast start, right? The Facebook groups. I mean, you guys, everybody's so active in there. Keep staying active. Keep commenting on each other's stuff. Keep lifting each other up. Because when people come in there and they see that and they're brand new, like I have a guy that's brand new, just came in. I'm getting him plugged in tonight after this call. I'm getting him plugged into the Profit Maximizer. I'm getting plugged into the Facebook group, and I need to be the leader myself. When he needs to see me posting in there and actually, holding each other accountable. So I'm excited about that. And we got Vic and his keyword tool. I'm sure I'm going to have some really cool trainings for you guys here in the near future. I got some cool stuff that I can continue to share with you guys, but I don't want to overload you. I just want you to know that you got the right core group of people, somehow came together, somehow found each other, and we were all, I guess, broadcasting the right frequency, right? It happens, it's real, and we all just paired up, and so now we're ready to take it to the next level and continue to, obviously get more and more people around us that are at that same frequency level, that want to, just dream bigger, right? And come from a place of giving, not from a place of like, what can I get from somebody today, or you know what I mean? We all have the right intentions to make the big money, but how are we going to do it? We're going to help a lot of people in the meantime. And so back over to you, Darren. If you have any questions, definitely let me know.
Well, guys, one of the things that I want for you to really see, because you're witnessing this here today, you're witnessing this from stuff that we talked about 3 weeks ago, okay? What I want for you to do is I want you to start to expand your mind outside of your existing business, okay? Because 3 weeks ago or so, I was talking about, what does it take to move up to the next level of leadership, right? And here's what you've got to be prepared to do. You got to be able to surrender all your value to the world. All your value to the world. Give away your best value up front and give it away for free, right? But we didn't start on the same teams, guys. How about that? None of us. We're all on different teams. Okay, so we all came together collectively to form a mastermind. Okay, so what I want for you guys to start to think about is don't cocoon yourselves. Don't say, I just started. I don't have a team. I don't have any. You've got a huge team. Look at our team. We got, the 150 or something people in our little on our 7-figure mastermind there, right? So you already have a big team. You got to surrender to the team, right? Not be a lone ranger in the team. That's step one. But you've got to start to expand your mind outside of the team, right? Who could you do an interview for? Who's out there that could use what you have on their blog post? You see what I'm saying? So start to take your leadership. Don't cocoon yourself. Don't think that it's you all alone in your own little tiny hole like this, right? Don't do that. Step 1, surrender to the team, right? Step 2, surrender your whole value to the world, right? And start to cross-pollinate and attract other leaders to do these little joint ventures. This is the reason why you want to be at the next event, okay? This is the reason why you want to be at the next event. Because the relationships happen at the events, guys. That's where it happens. That's where the breakthroughs happen. That's where the connections happen, right? That's where Vic and I hooked up at the bar a couple times. That's where Scott and I went out for a bite to eat. That's where it all happens. That's where Sonia had her breakthrough. That's where Chad went to the next level. It all happened at the last event. Okay, so what you got to start to think about in your own mind, right, is, am I going to be at the next event? You better believe you will be, right? Because that's where your breakthrough is going to happen. That's where your breakthrough is going to happen, and that's where you're going to start to be able to cross-pollinate with other leaders, right, to form these little pods. Okay, so what my vision has always been is this. I want to be able to start more cross-pollination, right? I personally believe that if Empower Network and iPass are going to go past $1 billion, that it's mandatory for cross-pollination to happen. That's my belief, okay? I believe that we're all on the same team, and that segregation actually defeats the purpose of us getting to $1 billion, right? So that if we can rise above, right, and all of us surrender all of our talents, surrender all of our skills, right, to a higher level to do everybody good in the whole company, that's when I believe that this is going to be $1 billion company, right? And the only way that that can happen is if every one of us in our little tiny core. Now keep in mind, we don't have like this massive, huge team, right? I mean, I just started an iPass in November, right? We don't have a massive organization, but it doesn't take a massive organization to change something, to change a belief, to change a concept, to change an idea that goes, oh, right? And right? Popcorn, cross-pollination. And all of a sudden, now what's going to happen, I believe, this is my vision, is when we move past the Vegas event, springboarding forward, that are at, here's the magic. When you start to go to events where this really does happen, there is a level of surrendering that happens at the events that is, it's not even, you can't even put it into words. It's such another higher level of leadership and of, you know, just being a naked soul and being okay with being yourself. And you have no idea how freeing that will be for you when you go show up at an event and that happens for you. Like what happened for Sonia, right? Because she left that event a completely, totally changed person. Like she peeled off out of this old shell into her new person and stepped into her power, right? And as this starts to happen moving forward, that's going to happen a lot more. So anyway, I just want to tell everybody here that all of you, for just trusting this and just surrendering and, you know, being willing to just, you know, throw your hat over the wall and say, okay, this makes sense, I'm going to go for this. But it's very important, guys, okay? You really, this is critical. Us as a unit, us as a team, we have to be clear. We have to start to speak the reality into existence. Okay? It's very critical. Every one of us has to take responsibility for our thoughts, our words, and our emotions, and be the observer of ourselves versus the participant. Now, when you're the observer, you start to hear your self-talk. You catch yourself in a pattern of talking like, oh, it'll probably end up like that, right? You catch yourself and you go, oh my God, I didn't realize I was doing that. I didn't realize that that was my pattern, that I was doing this to myself. So you start to be more aware of your thoughts, words, and emotions so that you can start to do this, right? Adjust your sails so that you're going on your proper course, right? Because your physiology in your body, just so you know, is your compass, right? This is quantum physics, guys. So you can say multiple times throughout the day, how do I feel? Because that's going to trigger you back down to what was your concentrated, focused thought. Now, we've got a responsibility not only to ourselves in the core, right, but to each other now. To each other, because it's all of our money. It's not just it's not just $1,000 of mine, right? It's not just $1,000 of Chad's or $1,000 of Scott's. We're collective energy now with, we're going all in with our 20K, right? This is powerful, guys, because I'm telling you what, I'm so fired up about this because of the compound effect. It's like a helicopter, right? So when we finish all the market research and we propel forward and we go to the next level, keep in mind, this is important as well for you to understand. If you aren't clear, right, keep in mind, we're all getting the same clicks, we're all getting the same traffic. If you're not clear, the sales are going to be going to everybody but you. Don't be that person. Do the personal development now, like your life depends on it, guys. You still have time. You still have time, right? You probably got another 5 to 7 days to get that vision board done, to get your proclamations done, open up your vortex, get through the emotions, go out to the forest, get at least from 1 to 4 done, right? It doesn't take more than a weekend, a concentrated focus effort to get the first 4 stages of alpha training done and out of the way, okay? Now, I can tell you this, because I want for Sonia to, I'm going to open up right now, we're going to close off with this, because Sonia has been on this path for probably over a year, okay? And she just finished her 3-dimensional vision board. And I'm telling you this, guys, this will change your life. There's other forces that take over with these 5 simple steps of wealth creation, and the board cannot look flat, okay? If it looks like postage stamps, it will not work. Sonia, I want for you to explain what happened on your revision once you did that and you finished that vision board, and what it's done for your life just in a couple of days.
Well, after we went, over the first version of it, the first version I thought was really good, but when I was told that I had those, rectangles or squares on it, it wasn't until it was pointed out that I actually, realized that. And so I decided to start it over. I decided that I couldn't really fix, what was there. So as I took it apart, I just started, I had stuff everywhere. And I was just standing there looking at all of my, everything that I, had pulled off the board. And it was almost like I was literally, staring into my future. It was like I was just standing there in a trance for a long, long time. And I began to see more clearly than I had ever seen in my life. And that's how I was able to pull it together. It was like something, it was like something clicked. And it was like a click, just like that. And I could not believe what I started seeing, what I started feeling. Although, I had, had some other breakthroughs, but the biggest one came when I was able to physically put down what I had been seeing and thinking and believing all of this time. That's when one of the biggest breakthroughs came. And that's what my board reflects. It reflects exactly what I've seen in my head, exactly what I've thought, things that I had, well, this, Darren, there was a point where I didn't believe.
So did you have that board? Because I want to see it.
Do I have it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. See, I can pull it up. Oh, I need to share my screen.
I'm proud of you, Sonia.
Thank you, thank you, thank you so much.
So when you look at your vision board now, do you get tingles and do
Yeah,
you really feel it throughout your body, the top of your head?
everywhere.
Awesome.
Yes. Okay. Can you see it now?
Okay. You can zoom in. I'm just gonna move you out here because we're getting echo. Okay. So, okay, can you zoom in? Is it possible at all? Doesn't matter if the top and the bottom's cut off slightly. Just zoom in a little bit.
If you close that window and then command click on the board, you can say view picture.
Or just do, you're on an Apple, do Command and then the plus button. Command the plus button.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine. Okay, guys, so what I want for you to really see here on this is that, that all of the different realities actually morph together. Okay, it's really critical that you get this. When you start off with your vision board, you have to have horizon lines off in the distance in order to create 3 dimensions. Okay, so you'll notice that from the couple, past Empire, past the seating area, underneath the plane, off to the horizon, that could be 100 miles, guys. Okay? Look how far depth that there is. Notice the distance between the car that's suspended in the air, and then underneath it, and then forward is the bed, the bedroom, and the gateway that goes through those column area, past the watch, over into the horizon lines off to the mountains. Okay, now once your eyes start to adjust to this, you will start to see in 3 dimensions. Now keep in mind, this cannot be done with a computer. So don't think that you can just slap a bunch of pictures together in Photoshop to go through this process, because it will not work. Okay, you have to use scissors, you have to use an X-Acto knife, and you have to use a glue stick. Okay, now once you have your basic nature shots done, you'll notice that they kind of fit together like puzzle pieces. They're not just rectangle next to rectangle next to rectangle next to rectangle. They're pieces of a puzzle, and they fit together. And notice how the wine bottles on the top bring the 2 realities together, so there's no line there. Notice how the Gucci bag and the Chanel or whatever it is and the jewelry blocks those 4 different realities and blends them all together. It's critical that you get this, guys, because your eyes will start to see in 3 dimensions, and once you can see this and you go through and you complete your own vision board, I'm telling you, all I can tell you is this: buckle up and fasten your seatbelt, because this is a whole different level. This is not regular type of training, guys. There's 5 simple steps to wealth creation, and once you learn them and you can go through them, you can have whatever you want. Okay, Chad, what happened after you went through and did your vision board? Tell me.
After I went through and did it, I feel great. I mean, I can see it right now. It's already up on my wall, and I just really feel really good about having it complete, and I just feel really good being able to see it every single day. I mean, I could just turn my computer and you guys can see it over there. See, it's over there by my door, and you know, I just really like it. I like being able to look over there and see the Jeep. As far as, like you said, you know, you can't downplay the Jeep because it is the most advanced, like, off-road performance vehicle that money can buy, you know. But as far as the higher level of my vision is the Ferrari 458, which is probably like a $300,000 sports car.
You might want to take a look at the 488. I might add to this.
I saw you just posted that. Yeah, I did see that on. So I like this. I like the 458 Spider, but yeah, I'll have to look into that.
Cool. Okay, guys. So we're gonna do a wrap here. You know, there are a couple of spots left. I think we have right now. First of all, Wednesday night at midnight, we've set as the cutoff because we want to move forward and do it. Okay. Right now, there's 15 people that have actually confirmed that they're doing the co-op. Okay. Now, out of the 15, I believe that is it 11 or 12, Scott, that have sent their money in? Is it 11?
Yep, 11.
11. Okay. So we've got 4 more people that haven't sent their money in yet, right? But have confirmed that they're doing it. So that'll take us to 15. So there's 5 spots left right now. So Victor, if you've got people on your team, Todd, if you've got a couple people on your team, Chad, you know, maybe Craig wants to participate. Jessica, if you've got anybody, Scott, if you've got anybody, we have 5 spots and that's it, guys. Okay, 5 spots. Then we're done. Okay, now I can tell you this. The group that goes in this particular co-op is going to be at a massive advantage on anybody else in our organization, in our team. Okay, because we're going to go bwomp, 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 and then we're going for $1 million. Okay, now I can tell you this. When you have a vision to have $1 million ad budget, this is next level, guys. Okay, next level of rollout here. Next level. Because we're going to get into specific target markets and demographics. Okay, so we're going to say, oh, we've identified that day traders are a good market, right? Oh, right now the real estate market in this particular market segment is dropping, and we're targeting these realtors in this zone. We got the mortgage broker industry. We're going after the insurance model. We're going after the automotive industry in these particular states. This is science, guys. This isn't gambling. Okay, we're going with this. It's like being a sniper, right? Versus, you know, right? We're going in there with the sniper because that's target marketing. We're choosing the demographics, which is going to be the most amount of liquidity for our particular market as we roll out into bigger numbers. Okay, now the first ones, we're just going after our particular market. But as we roll out bigger, we're going to be specifically targeting niche markets, right, where we've identified that they have disposable income, right, combined family income levels, et cetera, and those are the markets that we'll be after. Okay, so what you want to be able to do now is reach back out to Scott Raley. You can get a hold of him back in the group, and we're cranking things up and going to a whole different level. Any closing thoughts, Scott?
Yeah, speaking of target market, I just wanted to show you guys something earlier. You know, anytime we're on our Facebook newsfeed here, you guys can click on any of these ads on the right or the left here, and you can find out why they're targeting and how they're targeting you. Obviously, this is a newsfeed ad right here, clicks to website, and anytime you click on this, it goes to their website. Well, up here in the top right, you can click on the drop down, and then you could say, why am I seeing this? And they'll actually tell you how they're targeting you. And it's this guy right here. That's the guy who's targeting me. This is his actual fan page. And then this is how he's targeting me. This is the actual target. Okay, he's using this lady right here, Kim Social, Boom Social with Kim Barst. And so
yeah, I know Kim actually.
Right, yeah, she's definitely dialed in. So if you want to go to the audience insights over here, you can paste in that girl right here, okay, that fan page, and you can find all about that demographic. There's 200,000 to 250,000 people on our fan page in the United States. 84% women, 16% men. You can even go down and look at like what are most of the job titles, okay, like what industries, mostly management and sales is the actual selected audience, which makes sense if she's doing sales and marketing type business. And then you can just pop over to her fan page here and just take a look at like her posts. And this is how you really understand who you want to target in any like thing that you're targeting. So my assumption is when I go back to this ad, and this guy over here, he's talking about getting high-paying clients, okay, and that kind of thing. So it looks like he does like high-end consulting, okay. So him targeting this lady right here, she's a little bit older, she's not younger, you know, she's probably in her 50s maybe, or high 45, I don't know. And so when I look at her, I would think that she would have a more of a expensive audience, okay? Not so much like an MLM company would have a very low-end audience. You know, it looks like she has a more of a high-end audience, okay? And so that's really good of him to target this girl, which obviously targeted me in my fan page or my newsfeed. I've never liked her fan page. I'm not sure why it's showing to me, but somehow I guess I showed some type of interest in her before, and then that's why I'm seeing this. So if you guys ever want to look at that, definitely look at that. Just look at the right-hand side of any ad, like these ads right here, Capital One and then Shopify. So if I click on this X and I say, why am I seeing this? A lot of times they'll tell me that like why they're targeting me, but I think what this one is a retargeting pixel, because I've been to Shopify before. So that's called a retargeting pixel, which is like a lookalike audience of when I've already been there before, which is pretty cool. So really the perfect audience for us, for the kind of people we're going to be targeting out of the gate, is it's a company called Network Marketing Pro, and they this is a professional industry fan page that it has a high affinity. Okay, it has a high affinity compared to some of the others over here. Like Smarter Networkers are a good fan page, but these are kind of like more of the advanced, more professional networkers that even Darren Little likes this fan page. This is Danny Johnson, and so it would be a test between, you know, Smarter Networker or Network Marketing Pro, and you could really hone into your market just by understanding your competition right here. And a lot of times I like to scroll through here and look at what they're posting and what is getting most engagement. You know, a lot of times they'll post quotes and stuff like that, but I more or less look at the videos. I like to look at the links, like blog articles, and I'm looking at the shares and the likes. So this video right here actually got 910 shares, 1,200 likes, and that's a good engagement right there. Anytime you have anytime your shares is relevant to the likes, then that means that was a well-accepted post. Sometimes you'll see posts that'll have like 1,000 likes and like 10 shares. Well, that means it wasn't the greatest of a post. So, like, look here. This had 4,000 likes, but only almost 800 shares. That wasn't the greatest post because the shares there's a big gap in between the shares and the likes. So if you guys are ever trying to understand your market, you can just go to a fan page that your market is highly engaged with, and you can just scroll through here and say, you know, what's the highest engagement? This one right here, all about your dreams, a dream quote, really cool. So if you guys wanted to, you know, engage this audience, talk about dreams, talk about courage, pursuing dreams, talk about quitting your job and going after it all, you know, going for the gold, never giving up on your dreams. That kind of post would really inspire the network marketing audience, because that's who we are. You know, we are like the Steve Jobs guys. You know, we're different. You know, we don't think. You know, we think different. We do different. So this would be a great post, and you can just see that and see the engagement. 9,000 shares, 14,000 likes, and that's a big difference between this post right here. So you can just scroll through here and get an idea of what your market wants and what they're all about. and you can literally craft a blog post from this kind of information. You can craft a lead magnet. You can craft all kinds of stuff just from this information here. So I just thought I'd share that with you guys, just some inside detail on about targeting and understanding your market and stuff like that, moving forward, obviously.
Cool. So guys, you can get sort of a little tip of the surface here about what we're talking about as far as demographics and target marketing. Okay. So when people first get into this type of a business model, they're kind of just crap shooting. They don't even know they don't know any of this stuff, right? This comes from years and years of experience, years and years of testing, tweaking, testing, and more tweaking to zone in to understand it. And the only way that you can do that is from actual experience, right? Now when you put a collective group of people there together that have that experience, like Todd, who's taken, he's a seven-figure income earner, like myself. Todd's done $100 million deals, just like me, right? Raising money, venture capital, putting together marketing campaigns to launch those companies, right? And rolling out campaigns, right, to do that. And then you take somebody like Scott that understands, that gone through all the technical stuff, that does all that research. Don't you guys feel a lot better that you know that your money's going to be spent properly and that, you're in good hands, okay? You don't have to worry about whether or not you're going to get value here, okay? Keep in mind, everything in marketing is all testing and then tweaking, testing, tweaking, testing, tweaking. Bam, we got this one. Whoa, we're going to run with that, right? That's how it works, right? So when we first start the campaign, we may be running 45 ads, guys. That might be happening. Then all of a sudden, boom, right? So we'll talk about that over this next couple of days, with our group, right? And we will pick the things that we feel are going to give us all the biggest bang for our buck. Then we're going to put together a funnel. We're going to drive it to a value-based webinar like what we did before. Have a certain thing in a follow-up series where we, you guys will know how to edify the lead magnet, right? Just like what Vic Streishaus does right now with his High Traffic Academy. Similar type of concept, right? But as a unit moving forward, okay, I can tell you this. Our special sauce, guys, and when you actually go through the whole thing in its entirety and you feel the transformation that happens within your own life, you'll realize that that $3,000 bonus, for when somebody can get that for $197 with a blog and an inner circle, that alone, forget about all the rest of the products, okay? That alone can make you rich. That alone, because you only need 99 people per 100 grand. Okay, and keep in mind, 135 are passive, so you can keep on dividing by 3. So even just if that's all you had, right, was that $3,000 bonus and the $197 entry fee, you could literally become a millionaire with that. I'm not kidding you guys. But it won't happen for you until you personally go through the information and you experience that transformation on your own. And then you'll be going, holy cow. And then all of a sudden you see all these other people going off like popcorn. Pop, 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 pop. Right? Chad Turner, 6 months right now, has already had a $10,000 week. That's what I'm talking about, guys. And that will happen more and more and more as people focus on the personal development. Okay, so we got a wrap. You've got Darren Little here with the MLM Superheroes. Thanks a lot for joining us on this exclusive and private VIP call. Get back to myself, Todd, or Scott Raley if you want to participate in this co-op. And here's what I'm going to tell you guys after we get off this. Log into your back offices and book your ticket for Las Vegas so that you are having your personal breakthrough. Trust this process, guys. Okay, start thinking about the cross-pollination, get your ticket to Las Vegas, and commit to your personal breakthrough. Draw that line in the sand and say, I'm going to be a millionaire no matter what. That's it, period. So you've got Darren Little here with the MLM Superheroes. I look forward to meeting you all in person one day. I look forward to seeing you at the top. Bye for now.